Data warehouse versus a data lake versus lake house. What's the difference between these three? Which one you should be learning in what order? What is the history and future of these three concepts? It's very important for you being as a data engineer, a data analytics analyst, or anyone who's working, be it a data manager or ETL developer or anyone with respect to the data. We are going to learn all this in this video. Now, just to give you some background, the clip has been taken from our AWS data job oriented program. So you might hear some references, so ignore them. But towards end, if you want to learn and go deeper into the data engineering and become a data analyst or data engineer or data architect or data manager, towards end, I'm going to invite you for a free class where we take you from a complete journey from being a beginner to getting certified and getting a higher paying job, whether you're new to data or already working but not getting that result that you need. We'll talk about that towards, and I'll invite you for a free class where I give you my complete 3-step framework as well as the complete roadmap to learn all this. But first, let's understand that these three concepts. So here's from our expert talking about these three concepts.
So now let's have the discussion about these three concepts. Again, these three concepts can be very, very, very helpful in case you are giving any examination of any particular certification. Okay, either you're going for data engineering, associate on AWS, you 100% will get a lot of questions. Okay, on these topics. So exam point of view, the understanding of these three terminologies can be very, very important. So you can just take a note or mark it somewhere that you may have to read it later on also. Okay, so if we talk about the evolution, okay, of this particular data storage or data management technology with respect to data warehouse, data lakes or lake house, so we can start with 1980s. So the concept of data warehouse basically started coming to the market from late 1980s, we can say. I'll explain what all these things. So you can just ignore the diagram right now because we have some more diagrams in the coming slides. So don't focus on the diagrams in case you feel it is complicated right now. In fact, they're very easy to understand. But as you people, some of you may not be aware of this terminology, so you can just ignore it for some time. Then when we talk about data lake, so essentially, a data lake got the popularity with cloud technology. So when cloud came into the market, now we have multiple tools, multiple techniques to grab the data from multiple sources, multiple type. So data lake being popularized from the year 2011, we can say. And today we have the concept of lake house. So we can just bifurcate this terminology, lake from data lake and house from data warehouse. So we can say lake house is basically the combination of data lake plus data warehouse. Okay. So there are wide variety of implementation of these concepts. Okay. So let us see one by one. Let us start our discussion with respect to data warehouses. Okay. Or simply a data warehouse. So if we just again discuss what is a warehouse. So in general terms, in warehouse we store a lot of stuff. Okay, maybe from variety of sources that we may need in future. Okay, so we may not be certain about it, but we may need it in future. Okay, so data warehouse is basically, we can say, a centralized repository. Okay, a centralized repository optimized for analysis, where data from all different sources stored in a structured format. So this is again a very important keyword for data warehousing. So data warehouse generally stores all the data in a specific structure. Okay. So this particular data can be used for a wide variety of purpose. Like the primary purpose is data analysis. So if you are again aware of data science or data analytics, so data warehouses can play a very important role in that field. Okay. So using your query engine, using your you can say SQL based structure, You can query a lot of data from data warehouses and you can take certain results. You can take certain decisions based on this. Okay. So this particular data, whatever you're storing in data warehouse, is generally cleaned data. Okay. So if we say what is the cleaned data, for example, you are working on a data and you want like data without white spaces. Okay? I don't want any white spaces. So what you'll do, you'll just uh, do some kind of queries, some kind of actions on that data, and you'll clean that data to remove white spaces, to add some missing values, to remove some undesired values. So these kind of data, yes, definitely outliners removing or adding the value. So this particular thing, type of data can be cleaned data that we can rely on. Okay. Complete data, we can say that whatever format you need. So transformed. So again, as per our requirement, and we will be learning more about this ETL process, that is extract, transform, and load. So these data can be directly, we can say, transformed into the required format. So that's why it's cleaned data. Uh, you can just start or you can just compare with a schema based, you can say, design. Okay. So for example, Snowflake is one of the example. Okay. Snowflake is a very popular tool in the market that is basically working on this data warehousing with respect to multiple cloud platforms. Okay. Uh, this particular data can be again optimized for heavy read workloads. Okay. Any idea about heavy read workload? If we say heavy read workload or heavy read operations. So I hope you people are aware of Quora, Wikipedia. Yes, getting the point. So Quora and Wikipedia can definitely will be the one of the example of read heavy workloads, because in on Quora and on Wikipedia, most of the people are coming to consume the information, to grab the information, to read the information, whatever given. So when we say data warehouse, so definitely we need some kind of application to implement it. So multiple cloud platform may have different types of services for that. For example, Amazon or AWS is having Redshift, Google is having BigQuery, and for Azure, you have SQL data warehouse service. And using these services, you can use or implement data warehouses. So, sorry, in our course uh, about data engineering on AWS, we will definitely read more or learn more or work on Redshift service in future. Okay, so you can just take a note on this. Of this can be one of the exam question as well. Like if somebody asks you in the examination, like what is the purpose of Redshift or vice versa, in case you want to implement data warehouse in AWS, so which service you can utilize? The answer can be Redshift. Okay. Next is our example of data warehouse. Okay. And we can understand this example with respect to one simple use case again. Okay. So let us take again the use case of Amazon.com only. Okay. Amazon.com or any other e-commerce platform of your choice. Okay. So I'll try to explain with respect to a very simple use case. Okay. So when we say data warehouse, okay, so we have embedded your data, we have added your data with respect to multiple data sources. Okay, you may have multiple data sources. So let us assume, okay, let us take the example like you may have one ERP system in your company. Okay, you may have some kind of HR MS type of system. You may have some kind of marketing or CRM, we can say CRM. So I hope you are aware of these terminologies. What is ERP? What is HRMS? What is CRM system? Let us assume that you are having multiple databases. When we say system, when we say application, so definitely each and every application may have a different database. So uh, ERP and CRM. Let us take the example of these two data sources, for example. So we will be just loading this data into data warehouse with respect to ETL process. In case you are aware, that's good. And in case you are not aware of ETL process, don't worry. We in future slides, we will be discussing ETL in very detail. Okay. So please wait for some time. For ETL, for this particular thing, you can just have the idea that we will be extracting the information for this from this multiple databases or application. We will be transforming into the required format, as we just learned, like data warehouse is basically working with structured data. So we can just transform it into required structure. And once it is transformed, so we can have some kind of loading mechanism, or we can say loading applications. Okay, so we need to store this data somewhere. So load process will facilitate that particular thing. Now let us take this use case or scenario of one marketing activity. Okay, let us say you have launched a new product. Okay, and you are doing the marketing of that particular product. So while doing marketing, we may need data warehouse. Okay, now how and why? So as you may be aware, like today we have sorry, different types of marketing. Either we may be doing some kind of outdoor marketing, or we may be doing some kind of let us say digital marketing. Okay, so how to decide, like where to put our efforts. Okay, so for example, you launched a new product, let us say one mobile phone. Okay, let us say you launched one particular mobile phone, mobile device. So you can just read the previously available data that is already loaded in data warehouse. For example, you may be interested, like way in which city my product can be a success, or in which city I can sell my product. Uh, it is a large number of units, we can say more number of units, and where we have not achieved our break even. For example, you may have decided that for a particular city we want to sell 1000 items, and you may not have sold in the previous we can say sale or previous particular marketing activity. So using these insights, okay, you can take the decision. You can create a report, like at in the previous marketing attempt, we would not be able to meet the requirement of the particular city. So this time let us send more number of units in that location. So how you basically have done that? Because if you don't have the data warehouse, uh, how many number of customers are requesting the product may be available in CRM, and how many number of products sold, that particular data may be available in the ERP. So if both the databases are separate, if both the applications are separate, we may not be able to just run the proper query. But if both the data are at one place, it is easier to run the queries, it is easier to get the result. So that's why data warehouse can help you with respect to OLAP, that is online analytical processing of your data. So we are interested in data analytics, that may be historical data, and you, by identifying this historical data, you may want to predict the future data, and accordingly you can take very important business decisions. So this can be one use case to understand working or why data warehouse can be important. Next topic is our data lake. Okay. So what is a data lake now? And what is the major difference when we compare data lake with data warehouse? The only difference is basically, in case of data warehouse, we are working, or we are again and again saying, it is working only on structured data. It is storing data in a structured format, in a specific format. But when we say data lake, so here the primary difference is like, uh, you can have vast amount or wide variety of data. Okay, your data can be structured, your data can be semi-structured or unstructured. So data lakes specifically don't have a proper format, okay, of your data storage actually. And the aim is basically very clear. Like it can store very large volume of raw data without any predefined schema. Okay, so we have wide variety of application of this type. Again, like in the example itself, you can see we can have this particular data lake input into machine learning model or wide variety of analytics tools. We can add this data from wide variety of sources. Data can be coming from your on-premises data, some kind of real-time data generation. You can take the example of stock market analysis. Okay, so when we say stock market, you can say the data is coming from thousands of sources. Okay, in real time or near real time, we can say. So these kind of examples can add to your data lake, and definitely again the output can be straightforward. I just wanted to use the data for data analytics purpose to predict something, to create something new. Okay, so data is loaded as in, means we don't have the transform concept directly. So in case of data warehouse, we have ETL. Okay, but in case of data lake, we can just use, instead of ETL, ELT. Okay, so we'll be extracting the data from multiple sources. We will be first of all loading the data into our data lake, and then when required, when we are working on the data, then we will be transforming it into the required format, into the required structure. Okay, so you may have to transform it, or you may directly work on the raw data. So depending on the again situation, or depending on the use case. So it supports batch, real-time streaming. So multiple types of inputs are supported. We can say multiple types of actions are supported, and can be queried for data transformation or exploration purpose for further use. The primary concept is to load data into data lake. And when we want to use this data, at the time we will be discussing or we'll be working with transformation. Okay. So S3 service is one of a very, very, very popular service when we talk about data lake generation. So S3 stands for simple storage service. Okay. Again, it is a very important object storage service. Then Azure Data Lake Storage, HDFS, that is Hadoop Distributed File System Architecture. So these are the example when we are working with data lakes. So again, you can just imagine the same example. We may have similar kind of applications, but our input can be different now. Structured, semi-structured, unstructured. Unlike data warehouse, that in data warehouse we have a particular type of structure that we need to maintain. Okay, let us update our data lake with lakehouse. So again, idea is very simple. Whatever you have in data lake, let's add the properties of data warehouse also. Okay, so if we are combining both the properties of data lake and data warehouse, so the result that we are using will be called as data lakehouse. So it is a hybrid data architecture or hybrid data storage architecture, we can say specifically, that combines best feature of data lakes as well as at the same time data warehouse. So when we say data warehouse, so data warehouse definitely can provide you high performance, okay, uh, reliability. When we talk about data lakes, so data lakes can provide you flexibility, scalability, we can say cost efficiency. Okay, so we are combining both the properties, so we are getting in the lake houses like performance, reliability, at the same time flexibility of use to use multiple types of data. We can implement scalability. So this is again a one of the important terminology that we will be discussing a lot of time whenever we are talking about cloud technology. So if we talk about data engineering or AWS, we are talking about cloud. Scalability is again a very, very, very common and very important feature of any cloud implementation, any cloud technology. Like we may want to add resources. Let us talk about storage, for example, if we talk about data, and we may want to shrink the storage in case it is not required. Okay, so this is example of data. In case of any computing architecture, let us say you are working with some kind of processor, So we may want to increase the processing capacity, and when there is no load or less load, we may want to decrease the capacity at the same time. So these terminology can come under scalability, and we will be talking a lot about scalability and high availability, lot of terminologies in future. So that's it regarding data lake house.
Hey there, if you like this video and want to go deeper and become an expert in AWS data engineer, whether you're already working into data or new to data and would like to take your career to the next level, I would like to invite you for a free class that I'm doing where we'll talk everything about data and data engineering services on AWS Cloud, be it S3 Lakehouse, or it could be Athena, Glue, Kinesis, Firehose, databases, RDS, all type of data. And we're going to talk everything about data, including why you should be learning. And I'm going to give you my 3-step framework to go from a complete beginner to getting certified and getting a high paid job on cloud or in data engineering on cloud. So if you're interested, enter your, go to this URL k21academy.com/AWS data 02, enter your name, email address, phone number, and click on register now. And I'll see you in the other side of this class.